What is going on, good people? You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I am your man, Smitty, and I got the mic all the way ramped up. I'm sorry about that. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I'm your man, Smitty, and we're here to discuss all of the news relating to week number 14, as well as discuss the Monday Night Football game. Lattimore is out, which means it's Mike Evans' season. Fire up Mike Evans. Get him in your lineup. Mike Evans' season underway. We've got all that and more. Michael KCPA, OG of the show, legend of the show, is first in the building. Joseph Kilpatrick, Payne, followed by a bunch of other regulars here. File on in, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and the Fantasy Football Show, it begins right now.
You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Está entrado.
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, good people? You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I'm your man, Smitty, and we're getting ready for the Monday Night Football game. We've got some news. Let's break the Lattimore news first, so we can get that out of the way for anybody that's got players playing tonight. Lattimore is not expected to play abdomen, and this is great news for Mike Evans, who is everyone's always talking about. What if Lattimore plays? What if Lattimore plays? Do we play Mike Evans? Do we play Rachaad White? I like Rachaad White. I like Godwin. I'm firing up all three of these guys if I can. But for anybody that's holding Mike Evans and you're like, do I play him? Do I play him? This is the guy of the three that has the most capability of having a 2 or 3 TD game. He has that potential. Do I love Rachaad White? I absolutely do. Are we keeping tabs on On Leonard Fournette news, absolutely, we will keep tabs on Leonard Fournette news. And actually, Leonard Fournette is active. That news just broke right now. Leonard Fournette, let me put that on screen. Leonard Fournette is active for week number 13. A little bit of a bummer, news drop right there because we all wanted Rachaad White to get out there and just get all the work. But I don't know that this really changes a whole lot. It definitely takes away some work from Rachaad White. But Rachaad White essentially replaced him, and they benched Leonard Fournette for Rachaad White right before Leonard Fournette got injured. So we'll see. We don't really know. There's a little question. There's a little questionable like workload situation going on in Tampa Bay right now until we see this game unfold. Think of it similar to the Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott situation. Tony Pollard actually got less work in this last week 13 outing. He had 91 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and he got less work than he did the week prior when he got more carries than Zeke Elliott but had a much, crappier day. So it could be that kind of situation in order for Pollard and Rachaad White to do well, and I think they can, and I think both of them are total flex plays, like amazing flex plays for anybody. They have to be efficient because they're going to get 12 to 14 carries versus 18 or 22 carries, something like that. So, but this is great news for this situation. If you've got Mike Evans and you're like, okay, do I play him? Yes, you play Mike Evans. Mike Evans to the moon in this contest. Get ready for it. It's going to be an absolute show. I have a feeling the Bucs are going to absolutely dominate, but you never know. You never know in these situations. It's always kind of crazy. We got a $20 hauler from Trucker. Trucker, appreciate your 20.
Mashed potatoes.
Trucker dropping the 20 spot. Trucker, I appreciate you, my guy. Trucker says, close fantasy matchup. Opponent has Godwin left. Score is currently 201.94 to 198.3. I can insert Evans or Kamara. Both have struggled recently, so a bit stuck who I should start. This is a tough one because Kamara, regardless of Kamara's, up and down fantasy football career, and out and week in 2022 is up and down 2022 season, especially. I feel like Mike Evans is probably a tad bit safer, but it's hard to sit Kamara. Like, I almost feel like maybe there was either you're stacked Trucker and you're playing in a grandma league or an 8-man league, or you just dominated all the trades in your league, or you made a bad start potentially at the front end. Not your fault. We all do it, but I can't imagine not being able to start Mike Evans and Kamara. So I don't know what your team looks like, Trucker, but unbelievable job. To the moon, Trucker, to even be in this dilemma. But I'd probably say, like, I go Mike Evans. Let's see who everybody in the chat likes, Trucker. Let's get a majority vote here. Drop a vote for Trucker. And Trucker, I don't know if I'm right. Maybe you started somebody you wish you didn't. Like, that tends to happen, especially with like Thursday night games, and they kind of influence you. But to have to sit Kamara is crazy, because this is the time of year where Kamara drops those 3-4 multiple TD games. This is kind of how he rolls. I'd probably go Evans if it's me. Let's see what the chat says. Evans or Kamara, please drop a vote for Trucker and let Trucker know what you would do. Evans says Isaac. Evans over Kamara with Lattimore out, says Payne. Sippin says Evans. What's up, Sean? Kamara, in my opinion, says Corey. Evans, Joshua. It's pretty much Evans, bro. Evans to the moon, says Sippin. Evans to the moon. I probably lean Evans, Trucker, but it's very, very close. And I want to give one more standing ovation for Trucker dropping I appreciate you, my guy. Trucker's an animal. Trucker, you are the man. I'd like to know what your lineup looks like, because it's tough for me to imagine that Kamara didn't beat out somebody, Robert says Kamara. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate your vote, bro. Okay, so that's that. Let's get to the Lamar Jackson news. Lamar Jackson is out for week number 14 or he's likely out. I mean, there'll be like an official rule, ruling him out, but he's unlikely to play week 14 with a very, very strong emphasis that this could be a multiple week thing. There is some talk about it being days or weeks, and they're being vague about it, but they did sign another quarterback, so that's always bad news that it's a potential multi-week thing, although they need another quarterback anyway for this week, so it doesn't tell the whole story, but I do believe we're looking at a potential multiple week thing. If we don't, it's Tyler Huntley season. My standing ovation I'm about to unleash right here is not celebrating Lamar Jackson's injury. Prayers up to Lamar Jackson. We don't celebrate injury here, but we do celebrate players on the rise that we root for. We hope they get a shot to impress so they can go to another team or maybe take over the current team he's playing for. I'm just saying, Lamar Jackson's been disappointing. This will be the third straight year that he's had a big chunk of games where he's gone into a lull, been injured. 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row, Lamar Jackson's disappointed. He was virtually unstartable in weeks like 1 through 7, 1 through 8 in 2020. Last year, he got injured because he runs so much. It's not all his fault. The team wants him to run the football. I'm not blaming it on Lamar, but he runs. He's a running quarterback. He runs 170 to 190 times a season. He's going to get injured. Look at all the running quarterbacks like right now. Josh Allen's injured. Lamar Jackson's injured. Justin Fields is injured. It's a brutal, rough, and tough NFL. And when you run the ball like a running back and you're a quarterback, you're more susceptible to injury. This man doesn't have an agent by choice. He decides him and his mother want to represent his situation. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he's currently doing that. He needs to change that. He needs to get an agent to handle this situation because he walked into a season he didn't need to walk into without a contract extension. And it's like now he's injured. Now he's disappointing again. Now, the NFL's in need of quarterbacks that have his talent level, whether he's injured or not. Whether he doesn't even finish out the rest of the season, teams will be knocking down his door. There's no problem getting a job or a contract. But I don't know what Lamar Jackson's thinking without this agent, this situation where him and his mom are going to handle this. Any team, the Ravens especially, would probably be happy to up the contract amount to the amount that would make up for the cost of having an agent to get a professional involved in between the two parties to get a deal done. Now we'll see what happens. Will Lamar be out long term and Huntley start looking pretty good? Because Huntley is amazing. I love Tyler Huntley. There are two quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks in the NFL that I've been touting for over a year to a year and a half, saying that NFL teams in need of a quarterback better strike and get these two quarterbacks on their roster as a starter, make a trade a second or third rounder, a couple seconds or a second and a third or two thirds and a fourth, whatever, to get it done. Mike White was attainable. He was number 3 on the depth chart. Even when Zach Wilson went down with the knee injury early on during the season, guess who they called? Joe Flacco, not Mike White. Mike White was attainable. Nobody went after him. I don't know why. I don't know why scouts and NFL teams and GMs don't see talent like this on the bench somewhere. If he's on the bench, he must be bad. And Tyler Huntley's that hidden gem talent that if you're far away from the TV getting a refill of your Chex Mix and you're across the island, you got the island in front of you, you got the couch in front of you, you got Aunt Edna, big old hairdo right in front of you, you're looking over all of that as the missus pours the big bag of Chex Mix, refilling it in the bowl. You're trying to see through to the TV and you see this quarterback looks like a running back navigating down the field like a monster, throwing the ball all over the place. And you're like, that's Lamar. He looks pretty good right now. Oh, wait, that's not Lamar. That's Tyler Huntley. You would not be able to tell them apart from a far distance away. That's how good Tyler Huntley is right now. And you know what's funny is everybody says things like, oh, he's inaccurate, Smitty. He doesn't have the arm to be a good. He's early on in his career. He hasn't been given a chance. Can we stop judging quarterbacks? Let's think back to when we said that, let's go back in time to Roy's room. Let's go to Roy's room and let's tell Roy, July 2022 is where we sit in Roy's room. I see you're awake, Roy. Jalen Hurts is going to be an absolute monster. It's July 2022. You can see it on the calendar. I know you don't believe me right now, Roy, because you think he's inaccurate. Your little fantasy magazine you're sleeping under that's under your pillow right now, bro. I know it says that he's inaccurate. I know it says that he's never going to be a good passer. He's had an opportunity. This is his final chance. We're going to send you, AJ Brown. We're sending you AJ Brown. And if you don't do it now, he better do it now. You heard that from everybody, didn't you, Roy? You're hearing it right now. He better do it now or it's over. This is his last chance because he's Jalen Hurts. We don't believe in him. Everybody and their mother said bad things about Jalen Hurts. He can't throw. He's inaccurate. He's inaccurate. Give him weapons. Give him time to develop and evolve. Anybody that talks bad about Tyler Huntley's accuracy or starts picking apart Tyler Huntley's game are the same people that said Jalen Hurts would fail. The same people. If someone says Tyler Huntley's not that good, bro, look at him and go, Oh, Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts? Where did you speak on Jalen Hurts? Let me see some evidence you like Jalen Hurts, because all I'm going to find is negativity. And you tearing the man down, acting like he can't develop or get better with better weapons. Tyler Huntley, for those he's inaccurate people out there that say that Tyler Huntley can't throw, guess what he threw for in week number 13? 27 of 32. Where is that? I know I have that graphic here somewhere. I don't know if this is it. There it is. 27 of 32. He had an interception. I think it was a tip pass. And I didn't even see that one. But I knew it had to have been a tip pass because this man was 27 of 32. He may have worked on his accuracy in the offseason. So before you blindly run your mouth about Tyler Huntley and say he's inaccurate, why don't you go check the game log from last week when he threw 27 of 32 passes. Yeah, short passes, whatever. Check downs, who cares? The guy's accurate. He's more accurate than anybody gives him credit for. Fire up Tyler Huntley. Add Tyler Huntley in your league. Tyler Huntley
to the moon.
Possibly to the moon. Now, is it a guarantee? Does he get more than one start? He might go out there and play one game. And then we don't ever see him for another year because another team may not care. The 31 teams might say, we don't see the talent, just like nobody saw the talent in Mike White, which we'll get to in a second. I was anti-Hurts preseason, but listened to Smitty and drafted a ton of him in best ball. Yeah, hey, Ron, do you have any leagues that are ready to clean up in best ball? I'm just curious how you're doing in some of those. Lamar Jackson, expecting to be out. Tyler Huntley will do a waiver wire video potentially tonight. It might be late night, I'm not sure yet. But we'll do a waiver wire video. Tyler Huntley's surely going to be atop of that list. We're going to have a few other names. We can toss out some waiver wire stuff too as we go. This news right here, Jacobs is limited and a limited participant in practice on Monday. There's some thinking that this is an upgrade from last week, essentially, being limited this early on versus being out or looking very questionable for week number 13, which he played and dominated again. The only concern I have is the injury getting better. He keeps playing on it. We'll see. He's got a quad and a calf injury now, but he looks like a monster. So here's the moral of the story. We're watching this like a hawk, okay? Zamir White needs to be grabbed. Zamir White needs to be added if he wasn't added last week because he was a high waiver wire player recommendation last week. But you need to add Zamir White if you own Josh Jacobs. You need to add Zamir White even if you don't own Josh Jacobs. But if Jacobs sits, Zamir White's a really good flex play. But until we hear he's sitting, you start him. I don't want to hear a debate. The guy's on fire. I don't want to hear a debate. You start a player that's on fire like Josh Jacobs. He's on fire. He's really proven a lot of people wrong, including myself. He looks fantastic right now. Could that change? It could. But why expect that? The guy's on fire. If he's playing, you play him. Enough said. But make sure you're cuffing Zamir White. Joe Mixon, this concerns me. This is supposed to be like an improvement report. Like, okay, things are looking better, but I feel worried about him Bengals head coach Zach Taylor said Joe Mixon has a chance to clear concussion protocol early in the week. This is a long time that he's been out not clearing concussion protocol. I don't know how severe, it must have been severe, but they're not really talking about the severity of the concussion or what had happened to him. But this is not great news because he obviously suffered a pretty bad concussion, and the ability to suffer another concussion increases with every concussion you have, especially when you have a really, really bad concussion. So we'll see what's what with this. But if Mixon's a go, you play him. He's got a good matchup against the Browns, I believe, this week, right? So it's a must play. He's a must play, but P. Ryan needs to be owned. Obviously, he's picked up in a majority of leagues, but if P. Ryan's out there, Samaje P. Ryan must be grabbed and rostered. And if Mixon sits, P. Ryan's a must-play flex play, at least at the flex position. Trucker Who dropping yet another $20 hauler. Trucker Who.
Let's go, mashed potatoes.
Trucker Who dropping yet another $20 bill right on screen. Let's answer this one from Trucker. Trucker says, I'm in a 10-team IDP league. My starters are Cousins, Eckler, Stevenson, Adams, JJ, Kamara. Okay. Rest are IDP. I ended up sitting Kamara for Mike. That's why I'm in that dilemma. So your team is Stevenson, Eckler, Cousins, Adams, JJ, Cooper, Evans. It's a really good squad. But Stevenson is probably, he's hit and miss. I would probably say Kamara's safer than Stevenson for right now. But we'll know more on that after this contest right here in the next what is it starting, like an hour? Is it starting in an hour or is it starting sooner than that? I got to get my TV up. Let's see here. But that's for next week. This week I'm probably going Evans myself. I understand that you're struggling with this one because I would be struggling all the way up to kickoff. But I don't think I could sit Mike Evans with Lattimore out. So I'm going to say fire up Mike Evans. Appreciate your super chat, Trucker Who. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Joe Mixon, more to come. Sounds like he's trending in a better direction, but I'm still awfully worried. ETN, I wanted to bring this up because ETN's not showing up as injured or, he's unscathed from the game. He's better off than he was walking in, I'm sure. We'll find out on that, but a lot of people thinking ETN's like been phased out or something. He played on 88% of the snaps. It was a lot of game scripting, which is a problem, and it makes us worry about, can he get game scripted out again, very easily. So there is some concern that we can't really figure out or really find a solution for. It's more just like, okay, do we think things will change? Will they start throwing the ball to him more? Will they start using him like they were earlier? When they use ETN, good things happen for the offense. So I'm assuming they will make some changes and try and address how to get him the football more. But I wanted to bring this up because this is a very, very critical number. 88% of the snaps he played on. So that's a very good number, and that's an indication that it was game scripting, not a backing off of using Travis Etienne. So in terms of starting him. But more to come on that. Lattimore, like I said, is out. If you have Mike Evans, fire him up. Godwin, fire Godwin up. Rachaad White's an amazing play. Leonard Fournette, I wouldn't recommend playing, but he could potentially get more work than any of us assume. This one right here, Jets coach Robert Saleh said that Mike White will start week 14. I'd hope so. And a lot of people were down on Mike White in this game. Like, of course, he didn't have the touchdowns you wanted, but he marched his team down, gave his team a shot. The team's behind him. This locker room, he's won it over. They absolutely love him. If he tried to go away from Mike White, that locker room would turn. That locker room would not allow it. They're wearing Mike White shirts, across the board, getting off the bus, except for Mike White was wearing a Conklin shirt. I still love Mike White, and he showed a lot of poise. He showed a lot of ability to lead and come back and put his team in the best position to win that game, or to try and tie the game. And he marched down the field. It was impressive. Yardage was big. 2 300-yard games back-to-back. His last healthy start was a 400-yard game. So this guy is an absolute potential a low-end elite quarterback at the very least in the NFL in terms of football. Like, he really could become that. I know it's early, but I really like Mike White. You know how much I like Mike White. I think he continues to develop and evolve, and he's making monsters out of everybody. I mean, look at how, I know Elijah Moore vanished, but look at how good Garrett Wilson is under the command of Mike White. If only Breece Hall were there. I would be so thrilled to see Mike White and Breece Hall on the field at the same time right now. But we'll hopefully see that next year. So Mike White, make sure you pick him up if he's available at all in any of your leagues. All right, we got the voicemails. We're going to the voicemail crew. This one's from Lewis from the IG voicemail group.
I wanted to know your thoughts on James Cook because I might have to put him in my lineup to replace Walker if he does miss a game or two, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. It could be more than that. Because I don't have much depth behind him, and I did a playoff push, so the rest of the team is looking really decent. Just wanted to know your thoughts on James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook is he's decent if you need him. If, let's say, Kamara does sit, or I'm sorry, let's say Kenneth Walker does sit, James Cook could be solid. Solid, by solid I mean like 10, 12 points type of performance, and if you get more, you get more. I don't know if Walker's going to be out. We'll have to play it by ear. It's an ankle jam. Basically what that means is that right here where the joint is, where there's bend in the foot, and sometimes you sprain an ankle and it's really sore in the joint. That's what he had going on. He jammed it. It's probably very sore. There's probably a lot of swelling. If I had to guess, it would be swelling that would keep him out. Like, it would be the fact that he can't, get it down, the swelling down, and that makes it immobile. You play on it while it's swollen. Obviously, the swelling is your body. It's an alarm system. It's a safety net. It's a self-made cast to say, hey, I'm going to protect this, and I'm going to release swelling to kind of mobilize it. That's what the body does. And so we'll see how his ankle responds. It's not a mid ankle sprain. It's not even a high ankle sprain. Doesn't mean that this can't turn into some weird bad type of injury that lingers, and they don't see it a whole lot in football, ankle jam. But my guess is it's a 0 to 1 game miss type of thing. It's not a 2, 3, 4. High ankle would be 3 games, 4 games, 2 games, 6 games. It depends on the severity of the high ankle sprain, which is up here. It's almost like in the shin area of your leg, the upper ankle. This is right in the joint. So 0 to 1 game, so we have no information on it right now, but Cook is a pretty darn good play. This one is also from Lewis.
Just wondering what you think about my team. You're probably going to call my league a grandma league.
Yeah, probably.
But that's all right. It's my money league, so
attaboy. Still
happy with the team. I got Hurts at QB. This guy been saving me so much stress on Sundays.
Yeah, Hurts is amazing.
Got Saquon, ETN, Walker, and wide receivers are Adams and Hill. And amazing. Tight end is my least favorite spot, and I only have Moreau or Evan Ingram, so just wondering what you think about the playoff push with this team.
Yeah, Moreau not bad. Look at Taysom Hill in case he becomes quarterback and all that. So, but you're not in a grandma league because your running backs a lot. ETN, Walker, we acquired those guys late, so it's easy to call that a grandma league. But at the end of the day, you did amazing drafting. Nice job. Hopefully, at least one of ETN or Walker bounce back extremely well. And I think if both do, you've got it in the bag. But if one of them does, I think you still have a very strong chance of winning your league with that lineup. Your wide receivers and your quarterback, Jalen Hurts, will carry you. The fact that Jalen Hurts, this is why I love early quarterback approach and why I will continue to, because there is no analyst in the entire fantasy football industry, especially on YouTube, creating daily videos and has a daily show that talks more about drafting a quarterback early and how it's ridiculous that people are afraid to do so, or that they think there's some massive disadvantage to do so. Drafting a quarterback early is not a negative. It's not doesn't put you at a deficit. It's the way to go in today's fantasy football environment. And when I say early, I don't mean draft a quarterback in the first round. I mean draft a quarterback where it's appropriate to draft a quarterback. I mean draft somebody around their ADP, maybe a little bit ahead. Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, those guys will all linger in the late second for one of them, maybe two of them. This year, I think more people get on board the early quarterback train. I think we get a lot more people on board because I'm going to create a bunch of content. The industry will still have an instinct to push back against it because I have a feeling the majority of the industry is going to get this. Oh, we can get this controversial. Don't fall for it. There's such a good amount of late quarterbacks. Look how late Jalen Hurts was had. And we talked about Jalen Hurts. But what I told everybody, what we all said was early quarterbacks fine. If they fall in your lap and they're the best player available. It's all about best player available. It's all about best player available. If anybody doesn't understand what that means, let me explain it really quickly for you. If you're sitting there and Josh Allen at 2.10 is the best player available in your mind, you're running through the options. You don't like him. You don't want to draft that running back. All the running backs dried up. You're not really liking those two wide receivers. You don't want to go early tight end, but you force yourself to go RB because you're told you got to grab an RB if you're in that situation, or you got to go wide receiver. If Josh Allen's the best player available, you abort the middle round quarterback draft strategy that we touted on this show. Draft Jalen Hurts in round 6. Draft Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow in round 6 and 7. That was more of my push than it was early quarterback drafting. My push was Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow. I said do this.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
Drop the pancake emoji for what's going to probably be one of the best stacks, if not the best stack going forward for weeks 14 on. I said do this.
The tripod, also likened to pyramids in ancient Egypt, are constructed using Burrow or Hurts, Chase or a JB, Hull or Walker.
There's all kinds of ways to win in fantasy football. Early quarterback is one of them. Early quarterback gets deployed only when Josh Allen, Mahomes, or in the case of 2023, Jalen Hurts, Joseph Burrow, those guys are all moving up. You won't get Joseph Burrow in round 6 anymore. You won't get Jalen Hurts in round 7 or 6 like we did all offseason long. We landed these monsters in round 6 and 7. The most touted quarterback approach by the show, by your boy Smitty, by everybody in here, locked arm together as a family, Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow and Jalen Hurts, locked arm all offseason long, locked arm family-like commitment we had to this quarterback drafting approach. But we're still in favor of early quarterback. Well, how do you do that, Smitty? When you're presented with the best player available being Josh Allen at 2.10 or 3.03. You have a lot of drafts. Everybody here drafts in at least 2 or 3 or 4 leagues, okay? You're going to have plenty of opportunities to not want to go early quarterback and scoop up, this is in 2022 drafting, Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts in round 6, 7, and we did that. But when presented with no better options, the best player available was the quarterback. You go early quarterback. You do not resort to drafting an RB just to draft an RB. That is best player available. If anybody thinks you always draft Mahomes, you always draft Josh Allen, that's what I'm saying when I say early quarterback rules, then you aren't listening to what I'm saying. It's when they're the best player available on the board to you. When you look down the list. Tyler.
I think I can win this week. My team is Joe Burr.
Travis
Etienne, Isaiah Pacheco, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Pat Freiermuth, Deebo Samuel, and I have Aaron Jones on bye this week. Tell me what you think.
I mean, crystal ball. This is a crystal ball question. This isn't a dilemma yet. This is just tell me what you think. I'm going to give you a win. I like it. You got a strong core. Let's listen to this team one more time for Tyler.
I think I can win this week. My team is Joe Burr, Travis Etienne, Isaiah Pacheco, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Pat Fryer.
Those are all ballers.
Debo Samuel.
Let's go.
And I have Aaron Jones on bye this week.
Nice job. Tyler, another one.
James Cook, and start him over Pacheco.
No. What did Pacheco do to you, bro? What did Pacheco only just had another good game. Like, we're going Pacheco. As long as Pacheco's healthy, there's no negative news on Pacheco. They continue to use him and score touchdowns with him. Pacheco's pretty solid. He's kind of like Tony Pollard and Rachaad White, though. You need the high efficiency in order to get them to deliver, but they're in high efficiency environments. You know, Tony Pollard, 12 carries isn't going to get you 91 yards and 2 touchdowns very often, but for Tony Pollard, who is a moon man, I might add.
The moon men, dropping loads in outer space.
I mean, look at this group. I had a few people saying that this moon men list looked like they were crashing down into the atmosphere. I don't think so. You're never going to have a whole list of like sleepers and value grabs, which is what this moon men list is about. It's not about grabbing the top 5 guys and say, there are moon men to the moon. This was about grabbing undervalued players, and these guys are balling. Some of our favorite steals. Jalen Hurts, 6'7". A.J. Brown's been delivering. St. Brown, he was so underrated walking into the season, and he got injured, and he disappointed. He's back, though. He's back. He's dropping fire. I know ETN's disappointing people right now, but he's delivered for the cost of entry, and he's going to continue to. Walker was an absolute steal. Okay, Pierce has vanished. Pollard's blowing up. Rachaad White's about to get on the field right now. Joseph Burrow's smoking cigars for a living. And we couldn't help that Breece Hall and Javonte Williams, 2 potential top 5 running backs, were going to go down to ACL tears. If you ask me, this Moon Man list was absolutely phenomenal, and it still is.
Mashed potatoes.
We are as what was this? What's this comment right here? Where was it? It was so long ago I can't even find it. Appreciate all of you. You guys we're the Fantasy Football Nation. I guess we call ourselves the Fantasy Football Nation. I don't know. That seems to be what we're saying lately. Okay, so these are all answered. Thank you guys. I'll answer any other ones you have for tomorrow. Let's go to the other voicemail groups. I don't know if anybody left any. It looks like Ryan dropped one.
What's going on, Smitty? Really quick. My playoffs come down to tonight. I'm up by 1 point. My Rachaad White versus his Kamara. What do you think?
If I had to guess, I would say Kamara's probably going to outscore him, but I hope I'm going to be rooting for the opposite to happen. If I had to place a prop on it, or whatever, which you can do at Underdog Fantasy using promo code Smitty, I might add. Go to Underdog Fantasy. They'll match up to $100, dollar for dollar, up to your first $100 on your first deposit by using promo code Smitty. Get on over to Underdog. The link is in the description below of every single video, so go check that out. I would say Kamara, but I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Let me change the vibe. We'll go Rachaad White. Rachaad White to the moon tonight. I'm gonna be rooting for it. I think you let's manifest it. You're gonna get it done. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan, one more.
One more quick one, Smitty. I have Jeff Wilson. I've been hit by injury all year. I lost Breece, who was the biggest piece on my team. How do we see Jeff Wilson for the future? Is he going to be... Can we plug him right back in next week? Are we a little nervous? I need direction here.
I see Smitty Nation a lot. The reason I haven't stuck to this is I don't want to sound arrogant where I put the name of our community with my name in it. But you know what? It catches, and a lot of people have been saying it. So Smitty, maybe it's Smitty Nation. It just sounds so arrogant that I'm gonna name my followers with my name in it. But I do like Smitty Nation. It has been catching. We'll be Smitty Nation if you want. We'll let everybody vote on what we want to call ourselves, because we need to have a singular call a label. And I wasn't I wasn't, Ryan, dropping the promo code because I think you're going to lose. I was dropping the promo code because I mentioned props, but go to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Not because you're going to lose. Not because you're going to lose. But as for Zach Wilson, Jeff Wilson, he's on the bench until further notice. But it doesn't mean I don't like him moving forward. Rock out.
Hey, Smitty, bad week. I got burrowed. I got Adam'd. I got Pollard. And I needed like 74 points to come back. And I have Kamara and Olave. I need like a 3 TD game by Kamara. Shaking my head, but hopefully I can get it back next week.
Hey, this is why
comeback, whatever.
This is why you do what you do. Okay? This is why you do what you do. You want to have fun with this. That's a lot of points, but I've seen it happen before. So, it's possible for you, bro. I think have fun watching it. Don't get too emotional and just enjoy the show. I don't have any messages from voicemail group 2, I don't think. Yeah, nothing. Wow. Nothing from voicemail group 2. If you want to become, let me drop this link. If you want to, actually, I'm just going to put it up on screen. If you want to become a voicemail dropper, all you got to do is go to Instagram, go to The Fantasy Football Show on Instagram, and click the subscribe button on my profile. On my profile, I have a subscribe button. If you click said subscribe button, it's $4.99 a month, and it allows you to drop daily voicemails, so your voice and your question will be on the show on the daily if you want. I literally go to this chat, and I play all of the voicemails that are waiting for me inside this chat. Look at them. We only had 4 today of a huge group of people. You could dominate and have your question played whenever you want it on the first 20 minutes, inside around the first 20 minutes of the show is when we're going to do the voicemail segment. I'm going to dress it up and make it more of a priority that 20 minutes in, we hit the voicemails no matter what. So if you want to be a part of that, go to my Instagram, click subscribe on my profile, and join for just $4.99 a month. Not only do you get in that group of people where you could drop the voicemails, but you can talk to everybody and get like-minded advice from everybody. So go do that. Let's hit these remaining super chats before the game kicks off, because I don't know if any of these questions are related to tonight's game, and I don't want to leave anybody hanging. So super chats, I apologize for the delay. Thank you, Trucker, for yours. Kyle dropped his. Hey, Smitty, opponent has Evans and Tampa Bay kicker, and I have White. Ahead by 4 points. Thoughts if I have a chance? ETN and Walker kicked the dirt this week. So your opponent has Evans and Tampa Bay kicker, and you have Rashad White. You're ahead by 4. We're rooting for you. It's going to be tough. It's going to be close. It's obviously going to depend on the obvious, but hopefully Rashad White gets totally fed, man. I'm going to be rooting for you. Hey, boss, I have a 10-point lead right now, and my opponent had Tom Brady. You have the option of Lenny or White. I need to win. I would go Rashad White. Leonard Fournette was essentially benched before he got injured, so I think we all here agree that, and he's the receiving back. So if he gets a majority, if not all, the receiving work, and then he gets half of the carries, that's still way more than 50% of the total workload. Give me Rashad White. Anything can happen. Trust your gut. Trucker, thank you again for this $20 holler, the second one that you dropped to the show. Slayer dropping the super chat. We're a nation. Yeah, Smitty Nation's fine with me. Whatever you guys want to put in there. Show Nation's okay. I think Smitty Nation rings better, but again, I've just been hesitant to put my own name. But you know what? Whatever. Smitty, I need answers. Do you think Kenny plays? Kenny Walker? We don't know, Eric. We don't know. The latest news we have is this news by Pete Carroll talking about the ankle jamming, okay? That's all we got. We have no really further information. We know that the ankle jammed, and that's better than a high ankle sprain unless there's some kind of weird thing they haven't told us about. But the ankle jam to me is a 0 to 1 week missed amount of time. We just don't know if it's 1 week or 0 weeks. Could there be something else that evolves within that? Sure. Could there be a complication? Could this be one of those freak injuries that we've never even seen really that jammed a certain way? Maybe. Smitty Kingdom isn't bad either. Bill, appreciate your efforts there in naming our crew. which we haven't named in 4 years. We just kind of linger with all these different names. So it is kind of important to name us. Appreciate that. Let's get to the phone calls.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Down 13 says Blind Larry. Do you think Rachaad White covers it? I do believe he will get you 13 points if it's PPR. If it's half PPR, we'll see. But full PPR, I think he covers that. Because 5 catches for 40 yards even, you're going to be almost there. He just needs a little bit more. Carol said it was an ankle strain today. Yeah, it's a jamming of the ankle, which essentially is a sprain or strain inside the joint where it bends and where you can roll the ankle inside that joint. Everybody's, I'm sure, jammed their ankle or sprained it slightly. And so, it's probably 0 to 1 games, but we'll find out more later in the week. I don't think they're letting us know until they do some more testing and they just kind of have a better idea of what's going on. Vamp with the super chat. It has to be Denny Nation. Like I told everybody on my stories, I don't know if anybody's going to my stories. Make sure you look at my YouTube, not my Instagram stories too. But on my YouTube, if you go on the mobile app to my page, my YouTube page, if you click on my face, it goes to my stories. And then on my stories, I drop Instagram stories on there. So all you got to do is click on my face and it'll play them all. It'll just cycle through all the stories. They stay up there for like several days. But you can go through all my stories. I basically give you all the behind the scenes stuff. And I just tell you about my day.
Collared shirt. I need another collared shirt. There's a collared shirt somewhere in here. I think this is it right here. I will document the evening. I'll show you what I'm eating. I can't wait. I'm going to eat like a king. I think steak was involved. I love these dinners, man. They're twice a year. It's the only time I get out.
So I document. There's my dinner right there. It's all the behind the scenes stuff. It's on YouTube. I'm not talking about Instagram. I have Instagram stories and I think they're fire. And I think everybody should be following me on IG anyway. But I want everybody to be on my YouTube stories every single day. Click my face on the YouTube mobile app on my page, and I talk a lot about things like Denny calls in once in a while the show is completely. It's like in the middle of the night. Denny will just call the line. Like it's crazy. I don't answer because I want everything to be left on the field during the show, so I don't answer it. We got Ron Navy on the phone. Ron Navy, you're on the line, and we also have calling in this very second is Bill the Tickler. Bill the Tickler, what can we do for you real quick? You're on with Ron Navy and Smitty.
Hey, Smitty.
What about Ron?
Hey, Ron. Hey, I'm getting there. I'm giving pause. Gotta give pause. How are you, Ron?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So, Schmitty, I'm reaching far tonight, and I'm so curious of your thoughts and your feelings. I'm down 56 points tonight. My opponent is starting the Tampa Bay defense, so then I'll be down 66 once the game starts. I have Olave in my wide receiver slot, and I had Rachaad White in my flex spot, and I benched him.
For who?
Taysom Hill. I'm reaching to take a lap around the moon. I mean, what other choice do I have?
Rachaad White?
Rachaad White, really? Rachaad White give me a better chance to get something that is unattainable than Taysom Hill?
I like Taysom Hill, but we don't have he's not unlocked yet to become that player that I think he could really become down the stretch if he gets injected into a quarterback position. He hasn't scored much. Like I like Taysom Hill to explode randomly some week, and it could be this week. Like, trust your gut, Bill, because he did drop a 3 TD game this year that nobody but we saw coming, and we predicted him to essentially do that.
You
but,
did.
But
he dropped that.
Yeah, but I also predicted him to do well coming off of that game, and he hasn't. Okay, so let's be fair to my predicting here. I predicted him to do not 3 TDs, but I predicted him to go nuts. He did, and I've also predicted him to have a big game since, and he hasn't. I would say you got to go White, Bill. You got to go White. Don't.
Really?
Yeah, you have to go White, right? Ron, right? He's got to go Rachaad White, right?
Yes, sir.
Really?
You look at White, what he's done. He's gotten a couple 100 yards game recently, and plus all the passing that he's been getting. He's been getting a lot of catches. He's been targeted a lot, and hopefully, you just got to hope that the Buccaneers will let him see pay dirt tonight.
Yeah, Rockout's on the line. Rockout, he's got to go Rachaad White over Taysom Hill this week. Talk some sense into Bill.
Rockout, help me out, Rockout.
Who's your options? Rachaad White and who?
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill, reaching for the moon. Rockout.
Not yet.
What's your score?
I'm down 56, going to be down 66 when the game starts.
It's PPR, right, Tickler?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, Rachaad White owns the PPR work, right? Or he should. And we don't know. Bill, Leonard Fournette could be out there like 80% of the game, so you need to trust your gut. But
Well,
I
that's
believe.
not my question.
But hold on, that's
Brady goes out.
But that's a
Brady goes out. Rachaad White's not going to throw the ball.
Yeah,
If
but
Brady
Brady goes out, there's a lot of assumptions being made. If lightning strikes the stadium, none of them are going to be playing in this game. So like we can't do all the woulda, shoulda, couldas and predicting the most crazy of scenarios. All we know is that Rachaad White probably owns the receiving department and the targets for the RBs. And then if he gets even half of the running work, what does that equal, Bill? Well over 50% of the rushing and running back volume. So he's got like 60% of the work probably on lock. You know.
But you've taught me, and I've learned this year. I got the one tight end that could throw touchdown passes to Olave.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Hey, Bill, you know what? I'm kind of interested in you doing this and becoming a legend.
I mean, I feel like.
Well, you take it for the team and do it. Try it. Go Taysom Hill. Try it.
Okay, I already did. I already switched them out. I'm not going to lie.
Taysom Hill has. This is the outlook. I mean,
I love
week
it.
6, 4.5 points. Week 7, 10.12 points. Week 8, 8 points. Week 9, 1 point. Week 10, 0.1 points. Week 11, 7.56 points. Week 12, 3 points. So you're going to put all your eggs on Taysom Hill, and look at what White's done lately.
So let.
I'm so far down in a hole. What am I? I said it's the longest reach I've ever had in fantasy.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm looking for the group. I'm looking for the group to
Bill
chime in and.
Bill, I want you to try it.
Of course you do. Yeah.
I want this for entertainment purposes. I want this for entertainment. Look,
right.
You're going to become legend. You're going to become legend, and I'll become legend by extension for having you have Taysom Hill even on your roster. So let's go with it. He's down 60 points. Like, I don't know.
He's a higher up guy. I'll tell you that. Those are your only 20 points tonight?
You've ever heard me being tickled because this is I'm taking this so seriously, and I'm like,
yeah, he hasn't giggled once. Look, this is what I'll say, Bill. This is my advice is I would go if it was my team. I'm going Rachaad White. I'm not even thinking about it. But I'm excited to see if this works for you. I'm almost wanting you to keep it the way it is because you're down by a ton of points. Maybe it happens. But it isn't crazy that Olave and Rachaad White could both have 20-something point games. I mean, it's not crazy. It's unlikely, but it's
30 from each.
30 from each? Well, okay. Go for it. Bill, go for it. Go for it, Bill.
So you need 60 from one play. You need 60 some points from one player.
No, 2. He needs 60 from the 2.
I got Olave, and then I have Rachaad White or Taysom Hill, Ron Navy. That's my dilemma.
We got to flip the script. Arrow. I might have to argue Taysom Hill here.
What happened?
Hill might have the higher upside, and Rachaad be safer.
Well, safe. Safe. Where's safe?
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Once a show, The chat can spam this arrow emoji and force Smitty to flip the script and argue the opposite stance on the topic at hand.
Flip the script.
We've got one request for flip the script, but it has to be an overwhelming amount of those recycle arrow emojis. If everybody wants me to all of a sudden argue Taysom Hill for Bill, I have to flip the script and argue it as if it's my most passionate take I've ever had. There's Bill. There's the tickler when we need him.
The nation is loosening me up. The kingdom is loosening me up.
I think they want to flip it. They want to flip it.
The chat has voted to flip the script.
They want to.
I think the chat has voted to flip the script.
I think White could end up
Smitty
with
must
2
now argue
touchdowns,
the
100
counterpoint
yards,
of this topic.
and 6 catches for like
How
50
many
yards.
points? How many points is that, Ron? How many points is that, my analytical accountant?
Oh, well, 2 touchdowns is 12 points right there. 100 yards would be another 10 points. That's 22. And then
Hey.
Hey, Smitty, hold up. The chat. Look at the chat. I think you're muted or something. They can't hear you or something. Everybody's screaming muted.
Sorry. I don't know why that scene mutes itself automatically. I apologize. Okay.
Was that the gavel?
That was my hand. That was my hand when I realized that the scene got muted for some dumb reason. I don't know why. I was muted for a minute.
Maybe I need to judge.
Okay. So the chat knows we're flipping the script on this topic, okay? I'm forced by way of the chat who voted to flip this script and make me argue Taysom Hill over Rachaad White for tonight's game for Bill the Tickler, who is down 60 points and he has Olave and either Taysom Hill or Rachaad White. I say Rachaad White. The chat made me flip the script. Here we go. Taysom Hill is the most capable player on the field of scoring besides Kamara, of scoring multiple touchdowns that is not a quarterback. Now Mike Evans, Kamara, then Taysom Hill. He is third most likely to score multiple touchdowns. And the thing about it, bro, is this team is struggling. And I could see them trying to initiate some form of spark by way of Taysom Hill, who could catch a touchdown, run for a touchdown, throw a touchdown, and he has been running to the tune of like an 8 to 10 carry per game type of volume. So give me Taysom Hill on a flip the script scenario. Okay, right now I don't know who Rachaad White is according to this right here, so I have to go Taysom Hill. But Taysom Hill, what if Dalton goes down in this game? I know Taysom, I don't think can even be injected in the quarterback because I think you got to declare your backup quarterback. I forget if I don't think he could actually play quarterback. Could he? I think they got to declare that, right, guys? He can't just go in because he's not. I don't think he's deemed a quarterback. But doesn't mean he won't line up in Wildcat a whole bunch. Doesn't mean he won't catch a touchdown, run for a touchdown, and pass for a touchdown. Bill, you're down 60 points. You might as well throw a Hail Mary, and maybe Taysom Hill throws it. So put him out there.
Oh, man.
Back to reality. I'd probably go Rachaad White.
Thank you, Schmitty. Thank you, chat. Thanks.
Bill, I don't know, man. I'm excited to watch this, though. I hope you start Taysom Hill just for the enjoyment factor.
If this comes true, yeah.
You'll be legend here. You'll be legend.
How could Rachaad White
You're already
in
legend.
this scenario? I mean, look, I'd be lucky to lose by 40 at this point, no matter what.
Bill, are you currently at the casino?
I am not. No, I could never know. There'd be too much background noise. You'd cut me off, rightfully so.
Well, weren't you there this morning? Didn't you say, or Sunday? Didn't you go down there?
Yesterday morning, Sunday morning, Smitty.
Yeah. Did you win?
Yeah, actually, by the time the day was done, I did all right. I did just fine. And I'll be honest. Look, so this is kind of leading my next question. I had Mike White, and the game script went how I needed to go. They got down, and he had to throw it and abandon the run game, which worked for me. He got 42 points. And I got Murray coming back next week off the bye, and should I pick up a position player for the bench, or should I keep Mike White, or should I get another quarterback off waivers? I'm not really a 2-quarterback kind of guy.
I like Mike White a lot, but I also like Tyler Huntley.
Huntley, huh? Yeah, you did rant for about 10 minutes on Huntley before you opened up the phone lines. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I ranted on Mike White too, though. So I love both of them. I think Mike White, he's got Garrett Wilson. He's got he's got a pretty good situation too. And the Jets probably the good defense. They can stay in games. The defense can help them stay in games, and that's why Mike White's throwing a lot of yards, and even in the fourth quarter, in a game where they lose, he's throwing the ball. Mike White, when healthy, has thrown for 400 yards, 300 yards, and 300 yards, almost 400 yards again. He all he's doing is throwing 300-yard plus games. When he's healthy. I like both of them. I probably lean. I don't know if what do you guys lean this week, Huntley or Mike White? If you had to pick one, let's see. The matchups are
Mike White.
Yeah, it's so. In week 14, I forget if the Ravens are
playing Steelers.
Yeah. Oh, Ron Navy's gonna.
Oh,
hey,
9-6. 9-6.
Yeah.
Steelers.
Jets at Buffalo. Jets are at Buffalo.
Hey, what did Rock out? What did you say? I'm sorry, Schmitty.
Mike White.
Okay.
Yeah, since they're at Buffalo, he's going to have to throw the ball to keep up with.
I go Mike. But I do like Huntley a lot. But Smitty, best 2 plays out of Godwin and Olave.
300-yard streak already.
Godwin and Olave are safer. Sick nasty.
Navy though is this week in Buffalo. Is it going to be 35 feet of snow, or what's the?
They could, Payne.
I don't think so.
Payne wants to know if the Buccaneer defense can get 14 points. They could. This is a struggling Saints team that doesn't have an identity, and unless they turn to Taysom Hill and allow Bill the Tickler to win his league, I have a feeling there is an opportunity for some late pick sixes as this team's trying to throw their way back into the game and throwing a pick six. Similar to Dallas. That Dallas D was set up so beautifully yesterday to score a lot of points at the end of the game, because when a team is desperate and they don't have a fluid, consistent offense and they're trying to throw their way back in, they're taking risks. So it's possible. But it is a lot of points, but it is definitely possible. Michael super chat. I'm down 30. Pick 2 to win. Olave, White, or Evans. I'm gonna go Evans and Olave. And the other question was Olave, Godwin, and White. I'm gonna go with the 2 wide receivers if it's PPR or even half PPR, because they're guaranteed a little more than Rachaad White. But I do love Rachaad White. I am pulling for Rachaad White. But I would go the 2 wide receivers, especially with Lattimore out. You got to go Evans.
Yeah, we got 8 minutes till kickoff.
8 minutes. All right, guys. Anything else?
Well, so real quick. So I'm not down on Rachaad White by any means. It's more of a it's a circumstance call.
Yeah, but couldn't Rachaad White blow up? I mean, couldn't Rachaad White, if you weren't down on Rachaad White, couldn't you be maybe excited about what if he has 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns or something? Why can't Rachaad White do that? Is it only Leonard Fournette? You're just scared of Leonard Fournette?
Well, and you just brought up, I don't know, somebody said Olave, White, and somebody else. But I remember weeks and weeks ago, you said something, and I'm something I kind of agreed with before and agree with currently. In that flex spot, if they're decent enough, go with the running back, because the running back has the more chance to get those touchdowns than the receiver when you're down inside the 5, the 6, So I would actually look. I'm going with Hill tonight, but anybody else not fighting with Hill, I would go with Rashad White.
All right, Bill. I wish you luck. I'm going to be rooting for Taysom Hill for you. You heard Bill the Tickler. Bill the Tickler starting Taysom Hill over Rashad White, and we're all going to root for him. We're all going to root for him. All right, Bill. I got to let you go. We'll see you later, Bill. Call in anytime. The chat loves you.
Rock out. Schmitty, love you guys.
Yeah. Oh,
Chat, be well.
Later, Bill.
Yeah, man.
All right, rock out. You got anything else?
Yeah. Do you think Zay Jones' chest injury was worse than we thought?
I don't know. I was kind of surprised Zay didn't do as well as he. But he's kind of that kind of player. There's a reason he's a sleeper.
He's fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fringe player anyway.
I do like him, but we'll see.
What do you think about Dobson? So he's like touchdown dependent though.
Who?
Jahan Dotson.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean up and down. These young guys are going to be up and down, and now a lot of them are going to be coming back up, and I think score more and more consistently as they've gotten to know the game and gone through all the mental struggles that they've had, emotional struggles and physical struggles. So you always see these rookie wide receivers and young wide receivers kind of emerge, at the end of the year. Garrett Wilson's looking fire. Look at Christian Watson. I mean, it's always the case. You hit double-digit weeks. The real rookie wide receivers, the really good ones. Olave tonight should blow up. The real good rookie wide receivers show up in the double-digit weeks. Jamar Chase last year. All right, rock out. Appreciate you, man.
All right, appreciate it.
Later. Ron Navy, anything else?
I got two. Well, I hadn't even got to my first thing I called it.
Oh, okay.
We got right to Bill. So, to answer your question, I don't know if you saw it. I've got 19 advancing right now in the main best ball underdog. So my advance right now is 30% of what I put in.
Nice.
And it could go up, it could go down some depending on next week and the games tonight. And then, but that's just in the best ball. So I'm doing pretty good as far as percentage-wise of teams being advanced, or possibility of being advanced. And then pick them tonight. I got Godwin higher than 70.5 yards, White higher than 58.5 rushing and receiving yards. I got Alvin Kamara lower than 82.5 rushing and receiving yards. I got Olave for higher than 62.5 receiving yards. And then I got Will Lutz getting 2 field goals.
All right, you heard it there from Ron Navy.
So
good.
That's all I got.
All right, Ron, appreciate you.
Later.
All right, guys, any final questions before we may wrap it up pretty quickly? Phone lines are open for a little bit, so dial into the show.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Chief, I appreciate you. He says that I want to say you're the man, even though you gave me the promo code twice. I'm sorry, bro. I don't ever mean to offend anybody with the promo code. I just try and be honest. I don't know what situation you had. Maybe you bounced back. James Cook or Dameon Pierce this week. I think we got to address that later in the week, but for right now, it's probably going to be James Cook. And don't forget all the teams on a bye this week. It's pretty bad. It is brutal. We got so many. This is gonna be a very low scoring week. Very low scoring week. Here are the bye week players for week number 14. You got the Falcons on a bye. So you got Cordero on a bye. You got Monty and Fields on a bye. You've got Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Dylan, Christian Watson on a bye, JT on a bye, Michael Pittman Jr. on a bye, Kamara on a bye, Olave on a bye, the entire Washington, obviously team on a bye. So Brian Robinson, It's a brutal week. It's going to be a pretty low scoring week. I think people are going to crawl to a win, 70 to 80, 80 to 89 to 91. A lot of under 100 point contests will be battled out in week number 14. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Smitty, it's Tony.
Tony, what's up?
Tony, sorry, Smitty. So I got a question for you. I'm not sure how much time you got, but I just need your advice for my fantasy roster going forward because I still have time to trade.
Okay.
So my record is 7-6 right now, and I'll just list it out for you if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I got Geno, Saquon Barkley, Swift, CMC, and then my wide receivers are Lockett, Kirk, London, and Marquise Brown, and my tight end is Higbee, which I'm struggling with. So, do you have any suggestions for me? Oh, I also have J.K. Dobbins as well.
So, who's your tight end? Higbee?
Higbee.
I mean, you got to tell me who you have on waivers. I mean, there's nothing much I can.
The only guy on waivers, which I'm going to try to get, is Noah Fant.
No. I mean, yeah, he's okay. Maybe pick him up.
Yeah, because I'm not feeling too confident with Tyler Higbee because he's mostly blocking now in the LA Rams offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad offense. They don't move the football, so it's tough. Taysom Hill's gone, I assume.
Yeah. So what do you think? Like, do you think I can try packaging up maybe J.K. Dobbins and Marquise Brown for a tight end or something like that?
Sure. I mean, you could try for every tight end under the sun, bro. You could just go down the list. I mean, I could give you names, but really after like the Andrews, I mean, I would try and get Andrews still. I wonder if you could get Andrews really cheap. But I would pick up Fant. I'd probably pick up Fant and maybe roll with him. I mean, didn't he score last week or this week?
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, he's got some appeal. And who knows? Maybe you could trade Hollywood and Fant for Andrews. You never know. But I wouldn't sell myself short. I'd try and go for the second. You're not going to get Kelsey in any kind of deal. It isn't going to cripple your team. But I would take Andrews in a heartbeat. Even if I had to give up. Trying to think of even Lockett I'm tempted to like use a piece like that to get something done to secure that position up.
Yeah.
I do think Huntley and Andrews will be fine together, so I'm not even worried about that. And I think that Lamar probably will come back at some point. Maybe he doesn't, but Lamar's going to connect with Andrews because in order for Lamar to bounce back, Andrews has to explode.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
Lockett's very, very useful right now, but I also think he's a good trade piece because he can kind of not vanish, but he can kind of be hot and cold. So. All right, this game is underway here. One more final question.
I'm going to get submitted. Thank you, man.
No, go ahead. You got another question? Go ahead. One more.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Go try and make a move. Just go down the tight end list. Figure out who your top 5-6 tight ends are after the big two. Try and get Andrews, but if you don't get him, just start going down the list. Try giving Hollywood and Fan away for that one tight end. But Fant's not horrible. That's actually a pretty good grab if he's available.
Awesome.
All right,
thanks,
man.
Smitty.
Yeah,
Take care.
appreciate you.
All right.
There's Godwin catching a pass there. Brady looking on point. Godwin grabbing his first ball. Rashad White is out there on the field like we thought he'd be. All right, guys. Appreciate all of you. I'm live Monday through Friday. Every single Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm live whenever news breaks. So if something big happens, know that I'm here breaking it down for you. Like, oh my God, Tom Brady retires, after week 14. I'll be here live. Anything that happens, injuries, updates, all that, I go live. I'm also live Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midnight Eastern. And I'm live Sunday a couple times, so make sure you're subscribed if you're new. There are a lot of people that have not hit the thumb up button. There's still 220 220 to 250 people in here, and we have...
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
Subscribe if you're new, and hit that thumb up button, because we only have, as it stands right now, 128 thumbs up. I'm just saying. All it takes is 1 second on your way out the door. Another run by Rachaad White. They're using Rachaad White quite a bit. Don't injure him. Rachaad White, baby. Rachaad time. All right, I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.